Alright everybody, so this is gonna be another casual kind of video, sort of free form, you know what I mean? Don't know what my hands are doing right now, but I'm just gonna say that this is the symbol I'm gonna use in the future for free form, alright? There's been some debate, some discussion about a very popular character in the last week or so that I feel like I need to address it. And this character, I mean, it's insane, like larger than life kind of character. A character that we've all wanted to see more of and more of throughout the years. And I would say easily the most popular ginger, not just in all of anime and manga, but in all of fiction. I'm of course referring to Rias Grimmery from High School DxD. I just really wanted to put boobs in my video again. It's been a while, I'm sorry. Which, by the way, larger than life, get it? I did a boob joke and you didn't even know it was coming! Okay, red-haired Shanks, last chapter, shows up in Marijois, starts talking with the Gorosei. By the way, spoiler alert. It's like, oh, well, now you tell me. No, okay. So, I saw that, and of course my jaw dropped to the floor, and then burst through my floorboards into my basement, and then into the sewer, and then it kept going down a little bit until it reached the inner core of the earth when I saw this. Alright, this was pretty impactful that not just a pirate, but one of the strongest pirates in the entire world is now not only in Marijois, not only in the Castle Pangea, but is in the Room of Authority with the leaders of the world government. This was something that we have never seen before. Period. Okay? The Gorosei have always been set up as, like, the rulers of the entire world. They get to choose, and whatever happens, and they're set up in this, their immaculate palace, and the only people that we ever see talking to them are, like, really high-ranking government officials, like the Cypher Poles or something. Like, even with somebody, like, that has a lot of influence, like Whitebeard or something, like, we've never seen the Gorosei directly speak to Whitebeard, or any other pirate. Shanks is the first time that we've ever seen, like them directly conversing with someone outside of the government, not only just over a transponder snail, but in their room. And I never really considered this way of looking at it, but a lot of people took that to mean that there might be something duplicitous going on with Shanks. It might turn out, in actuality, Shanks is a bad guy! Except, you know, he's already a bad guy. 'Cause he's a pirate. Like, he's already come out and kind of declared himself an enemy of the world government as soon as he decided to become a pirate. Shanks is a pirate. You have to kind of remember that about the One Piece world. It's like, okay, because the world government is set up like an enemy, you know, that can make the Straw Hats seem like the heroes, because even though they are going against the government, we know that the government is incredibly corrupt and is kind of having a stranglehold on the world, and the Straw Hats are vying for freedom, and a lot of other pirates have that same goal in mind. But let's not forget the fact that the Straw Hats are an exception to the piracy rule, and even though we don't see Shanks going around, you know, participating in a lot of piratey activities, you know he has a fair share of blood on his hands. Okay, they definitely do. Throughout the years of his life, you know, being an apprentice pirate on Roger's ship all the way up to when he starts his own crew, becomes a Yonko. Yeah, Shanks has definitely straight up capped a few people in his lifetime, alright? So, when people come and say, maybe Shanks is evil this whole time, and I'm just sitting there like, well, he wasn't already a good guy to begin with, honestly. But okay, yes, I get where you're coming from. That the lovable, you know, swashbuckler Johnny Depp, you know, Captain Jack Sparrow Shanks that we all grew to know and love, and he was in support of Luffy, you know, take my hat, Luffy. You're going to become a great pirate one day, and then you return that hat to me. You know, that kind of Shanks might actually not be his real personality, I guess, is a way of looking at it. First, let me just go over my thoughts on what this means, Shanks meeting the Gorosei, and I'm not going to go into what they might discuss, because I have no idea, but I'm just talking about, like, the circumstances that could lead Shanks to be standing there amongst the Gorosei without him being, like, a secret spy for the world government, or without him being straight up, like, evil or something, you know, evil, maybe evil's not the appropriate word here, but a traitor to everything that we've known from Shanks so far. Maybe that would be a better way of surmising people's theories about this. But my personal perspective on this, okay. Shanks arrives in Marijois. That was a voice crack, but just go with it. Shanks arrives in Marijois, wanting to discuss a certain pirate with the Gorosei. Obviously, this meeting had to have been set up beforehand. Shanks didn't just, dock his ship at the Red Port, throw on the hood, walk into Marijois, and just like, hello there, I'd like to have a meeting with the Gorosei. Who do you think you are? And he just pulls the hood back. He's like, hey, Shanks. Fifth floor, third door down, you're gonna need the passcode 6342969 to get in. Okay, thank you, sir. And then he goes up. No, obviously this was a meeting that was set up beforehand. Now, I kind of went into this in the chapter, but when it comes to the Yonko, Shanks currently is the one that is kind of the easiest to get along with. Alright, and it all depends on who is the one that's requesting the audience with the Gorosei. The Gorosei are not stupid, okay? They are not going to let a Yonko into their room if they thought even for a second that that particular pirate was gonna try to, like, kill them, or blow up Pangaea Castle, or wipe out the Tenryubito, okay? And I understand where that goes to. It's like, yeah, exactly. They wouldn't let Shanks in there at all. Therefore, he must be a secret spy. Nah. Listen. Here's the thing, we don't know a lot about Shanks, period. We don't, and I know you could take this to mean either way, but the way I choose to take it is that the Gorosei knows a lot more about Shanks than we know about Shanks. Shanks has a reputation about the world that the people of One Piece probably know about a lot better than the fandom does, because it seems that Shanks, even though he only shows up very sparsely throughout the series, fans love him. Like, every time Shanks shows up, even a little bit, even though he doesn't even have to do anything. He could just be sitting on some rocks reading a newspaper. The fandom goes crazy. There could literally be a chapter where Shanks just goes to an ice cream shop and buys a freaking ice cream cone and just sits there and licks it, and the entire fandom would be like, oh my god, this is the best chapter ever! I'd read it. But, my point to the matter is that, we always lose our shit over Shanks, and I have to question, like, why do we always lose our shit over Shanks? We don't know what his power is. We don't know really what he's all about. He has a likable personality, sure. He was the one that set Luffy on the trail to become a pirate, sure. Obviously, he has ties to Roger, and probably the Will of D. I'm going to assume most definitely Shanks does have the Will of D. We're going to find out his full name at some point. But my point is that the Gorosei and their information network and everything, they would know what Shanks is all about. So, let's say Shanks somehow connects with the Gorosei, because he was the one that wanted this meeting. He was the one that had to contact them. Alright, and I don't know how that happened, but Shanks is a Yonko. He's got connections. I'm sure any one of the Yonko, like, if they really, really, really wanted to, could probably get connected with, the higher-ranking members of the government if they so chose. But it's just like, there's no point. If Kaido picks up a Den Mushi and's like, hey Gorosei, I want to have a meeting with you. The Gorosei are going to be like, no way. There's no way we're going to do that with you. You're freaking Kaido. You're going to try to, like, blow up or just wreck our entire castle. Same thing with Big Mom. Of course, the same thing for Blackbeard. But with Shanks, be like, okay, you want a meeting with us? Well, out of all of the Yonko, you're the one that seems to be the most chill. Shanks isn't, he might have committed some serious crimes as a pirate, but not as bad as, like, Blackbeard, who's going around and just, wantonly burning entire towns down, stealing devil fruit powers, directly threatening the world government. Big Mom, Kaido, going after the One Piece at Raftel, trying to discover the secret of the world and everything like that. Shanks has always been the Yonko that it's like, he's definitely strong. You don't want to mess with him. But at the same time, he's someone that you can reason with. He's not just this destructive force like Blackbeard is, okay? So the Gorosei would definitely know about that, and so they would at least hear him out. They would at least understand. They wouldn't just hang up the phone on him. Like, if Big Mom contacted them, like, I want a meeting with you, it's like, screw that, no, click. Are you insane? But, yeah, it's like, okay, Shanks, okay, let's see where this is going. What do you want? It's like, okay, listen, I have something I want to talk to you about. It has to be done in person. I have to meet with you. Alright? Is that going to be a problem or not? Like, can we actually do this? And the Gorosei at the same time, they're not just going to immediately, it's like, well, you're a pirate scum, so we have nothing to talk about. No, okay. Shanks would have information that they would definitely be privy to. They would definitely want to know some information that a Yonko has. It's very possible that a Yonko could have information that even they don't know about. Now, of course, Shanks is probably not going to give away that information for free. He's going to want something in exchange, and I'll get to that in a second. But suffice it to say, they'll listen to him, and they'll be like, all right, you can come and meet us, but there's going to be some conditions. In fact, I guarantee you there were some prerequisites before this meeting. One of them was probably, obviously, you have to come alone. You can't bring your crew. Not just for the sake of threatening, like, to destroy the world government or, like, you know, kill the Gorosei or something, like, raid the entire Reverie, but you know, it's possible to sneak one person into Marijois. If we were trying to sneak in your entire crew, that just wouldn't happen. Also, we only saw Shanks wearing that cloak, right? And obviously he was wearing the cloak so no one would see him, you know, coming into Marijois, because he's one of the most notorious pirates in the entire world. But also, I can imagine he might have even been shackled with, like, Karyoseki. Now, I'm not saying that Shanks has a devil fruit power. In fact, I'm fairly certain he does not. But even without being a devil fruit user, Karyoseki is, like, the hardest substance on the entire planet. It's harder than fucking diamond. So, even if you're, like, an armament hockey user and master, as I'm sure Shanks would be, you probably can't break out of some good, strong Karyoseki handcuffs. Real quick, just because I realized it when I said that, you know, Shanks could be handcuffed, you see, there's a slight problem with that, and that's that Shanks only has one arm. I always forget that he only has one arm. Probably because he doesn't show up very often in the series. But what I mean by that is, you know, that one arm he does have, he could probably still wreck some people with armament hockey if he really wanted to. So they could still shackle that down, you know, restrain him in a way where he can't move freely. Obviously, confiscate his sword, Griffin. They're not going to let him bring his sword into into Marijois. The point is that in order to get a meeting with the Gorosei, they would pretty much have to basically strip him with everything and be like, okay, you are totally not the one that has the advantage right now. We have all the cards, you have nothing. We can kill you if you try anything. And Shanks really wants to meet with him. He really needs to speak with him about this, so he would agree to it. So, yeah, that's that. So, I'm sure Oda might even go into a lengthy, not even lengthy, but just a quick little recap of, like, you know, maybe this is how Shanks ended up being here, and these were the conditions that, you know, they threw at him in order to meet with the Gorosei. Like, one of the conditions, don't bring your crew. The other condition is, we're gonna shackle you so you can't move. And, you know, and the other condition might be, it's only for, like 20 minutes. You have a 20-minute meeting with the Gorosei, you're shackled by yourself, take it or leave it, and that's the situation. Of course, the shackling thing, that's only my hypothesis. However, if that's the situation, Shanks, I still think, would have agreed to that, even those circumstances, because he knows that if he doesn't start shit, they're not going to start shit. Because if they start shit, then you pissed off a Yonko. Alright, and even if he was, like, shackled or something, like, you know, Shanks would still be able to at least escape. They wouldn't be able to kill him. And so I think that Shanks, like I said in the review, I think he wants to talk about Blackbeard. I think Whitebeard did not listen to him when he was warning him about Blackbeard and the threat that he posed. And now that he is a Yonko himself, Blackbeard, the admiral in command of this entire fleet, and he's stealing all these devil fruit powers, I think Shanks was keeping watch over Blackbeard for the last 2 years. He was focusing all of his attention on him. And now he found some stuff out about Blackbeard, and he wants to go to the world government because he's like, listen, Whitebeard didn't listen to me. You're literally all else I can turn to, because maybe Shanks is even like, I don't even know if I am the one that can take him down, because Shanks has a vendetta against Blackbeard. You know, he's the one that gave Shanks that scar. So you think to yourself, like, why doesn't Shanks just crush the bug? That's because Shanks is smart, and he knows how threatening Blackbeard really is and how people keep underestimating him up until the point where he killed freaking Whitebeard, you know, it was like, and then stole his devil fruit power. People were just treating him kind of like a joke, like, oh, he's not really that much of a threat. Even Whitebeard was just kind of like, you know, he killed a crew member, Ace is gonna go and bring him back, and I'm gonna drill it into his head, and the way that Shanks spoke about him is like, Whitebeard, man, this is bigger than you think. So the reason why Shanks isn't just going after him is because Shanks is cautious enough to know that that's a stupid idea, because if I try that, I might win, but there's so many unpredictabilities about Blackbeard, so much that I do not know, that it could really go south really fast. So I think he was keeping tabs on Blackbeard, found some information about him, and he's like, okay, where else am I going to turn to help me take down Blackbeard? Big Mom? Kaido? They're not going to listen to me. I guess I gotta go to the world government. There's no one else. You know, the world government, and if the world government helped me out, and they took him out, then we would have a shot. We would have a solid shot. So he has to go and meet them personally to kind of prove that, like, listen, I'm not messing with you here. This isn't a joke. I'm not trying to ambush you or to take you out or anything. That's the reason why Shanks, you know, probably accepting certain restrictions on himself, why he went into Marijois, into the Gorosei's office, to directly discuss this with them. Now, what the secret could be, I don't know, but he could be, like, requesting a team-up or something, like, let's team up, and or another option is, like, I'm gonna give you this information about Blackbeard, and maybe all I request in return is safe passage out of here, and then using this information, you can take him down. Okay, because I'm willing to let the Marines take a victory on this one. Blackbeard is so much of a threat that I'm okay with you guys taking over. Because Blackbeard's goal is to take over the world. He wants to demolish the world government. Blackbeard's like, you know, neutral evil, kind of veering on chaotic evil, okay? He really just wants the entire government just to burn. Alright, but what happens after that? What happens after the government burns and it's anarchy? That's not going to be good for anyone. Even the revolutionaries, whose direct goal we thought was to take down the world government, has stated, no, we're not trying to dismantle the entire world government. That would lead to anarchy. That would lead to mass panic in the world. We're just trying to, you know, take out the Tenryubito, the ones that are in charge of it. Blackbeard wants to burn the whole damn thing down. Alright? And if he does that, and if Blackbeard takes over, it's, even though the world government isn't great, it is not, you know, watch my video on that, it's not a great system that they have in setup, you know, the whole slavery thing and all that stuff, suppression of information, but it would probably be a far cry better than, imagine the messed up freaking government or totalitarian dictatorship that Blackbeard would enact if he became the head of the world government, or if he took over the freaking planet. You know, you could just imagine how that's gonna go. At that point, the only one that could stop him is Eneru up on the moon. And now I'm imagining Blackbeard standing in a burned city of Marijois over freaking Redline. I'm the ruler of the world now! And then Eneru, freaking bright light in the sky, like, what's that? Is like, Eneru comes down on an updated Maxim with a bunch of lightning horses, and he's holding his giant staff like, you will be smitten, devil! This is my world now! Someone needs to draw that. I will pay so much money if you draw that. But yeah. That's the basic system that I have thought of here about the whole why Shanks is meeting the Gorosei. Now, the whole traitor aspect of it, like I said, you could take it another way, because we don't know much about Shanks. He might not be, or rather, the most of the time that we see Shanks, it's always involving the Straw Hats in some way, most of the time. Like the whole thing when he met with Whitebeard, obviously that did not involve the Straw Hats. When he stopped the war at Marineford, that did not directly affect, or he didn't talk about the Straw Hats directly there. He was there for other reasons. However, most of the time that we see Shanks, it's usually after the Straw Hats have a big boost to their bounty, and Shanks is like hanging out. He's either drunk and chilling out with Mihawk, like, check out his bounty, man, or he's reading the newspaper and he's like, Luffy, we're gonna meet soon, you know? And Obviously, Shanks has a soft spot for Luffy because he reminds him so much of Roger and he bequeathed his straw hat to him. So, obviously, if most of the time we see Shanks in the story is when he's discussing or thinking about Luffy, obviously he's going to seem like a good-natured fella. Obviously, he's going to be like, ah, Luffy, great. But who knows? Maybe behind the scenes, he could be duplicitous. He could be like, he's like, yeah, he still cares for Luffy and everything, but behind the scenes, he might be a backstabber to his own allies. We just don't know. You know, I would hope that he isn't, and I would hope that at least if this was the case, I mean, hey, Shanks is a smart dude. He could have been playing the long game on this one. The only problem with that is that that was sort of Blackbeard's thing. Blackbeard's thing was like, I'm gonna stay undercover, and I'm gonna make sure no one finds out about me on Whitebeard's crew, and then when, oh, the Yami Yami no Mi, Thatch found it, that's when I'll make my move, and that's when I'll try to take over the world. That was Blackbeard's thing to find out that he was a traitor this whole time. So I don't think that's the situation with Shanks. I don't think he's evil or he's a traitor or anything like that. I still think, I mean, he's still a pirate. He's still gonna do some pretty dark shit sometimes, and that's one of the dealings that he's in. I'm sure he's in a few, you know, business deals that might not be on the up and up. But for the most part, yeah, he's a good-natured fellow relative to other pirates, relative to Kaido, relative to Blackbeard, relative to Big Mom. Kind of in the same vein with Luffy, he probably just wants to have a lot of freedom, you know, as a pirate. So, yeah, this video I feel was like maybe a little bit scattershotted with the way I described a lot of this stuff, but I just wanted to get my thoughts out there about Shanks and his meeting with the Gorosei and how it could go. As for what they're actually going to talk about, well, we'll find out in the next chapter, I hope. A lot of people have also thought that maybe Shanks was the shadowy figure with the giant straw hat. Okay, guys, come on. You're stretching at that point, alright? He was wearing a crown. He was super lanky. That wasn't Shanks, alright? Come on. Just because they were both wearing cloaks, it's anime. Do you know how many people wear dark cloaks? I dressed as one in the last video. Alright. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my store. I got Geography is Everything t-shirts and other t-shirts that involve chibi me's, so you can check those out, and I'm sure more t-shirts designs will be coming. Yeah, everything else is going good. Don't really have anything else to report on right now. Well, I do, but I want to wait a little while until I announce a few things. But yeah, yeah, have a good night, everyone. Signing out.